So good morning. Can you hear us also on Zoom?
Yes, we do. We hear you well.
Okay. So welcome to our second day of the training. Today we move into things that are more practical, and I'm honoring this morning Mirabella's presentation. She has done the presentation, but she has been shy in testing her English, so maybe tomorrow she will test it. I don't know, but today she will just help with the searches, but I have to thank her for preparing the presentation. And we are moving into the first topic, and this is about how we search our literature. So we have faced a clinical problem, and we want to see what has been written about it. And it is prepared to give, to remember us, there are simple things that we can use, which are available there, that would help us either enlarge our searches or narrow down our searches. So what do we want as learning objectives? Let me stay here. So we want to be able to understand what is the literature search cycle, what would be some databases that we can access. I know most of us, and we will practice in PubMed, but up to what topic we are searching. I think there is a kind of echo. I'm not sure where it is coming from. We have to look maybe for other databases who have more relevant literature. Then it is about how do we think about what are our key terms when we search for our literature. And then also, how can we refine our searches? So why do we do it? Because we actually want to collect those information that are relevant for our work. And I think these topics that we are discussing today come very well alongside each other, because here we are discussing how to retrieve the articles, and then in the next session we are discussing, okay, now we have them. How do we appraise them? I mean, is this one better or is the other one better? So I think that's the order how we put these sessions together. And then we want, of course, to identify that kind of information that is actually updating our practices. So we are aware that there is a lot published, and we have done this presentation, Mirabella has done it last October at the national conference, and she has searched the internet and she has put on the slides the number of hits. And when we did the searches last night, the number of hits for the same topics had increased, but dramatically. So the message is, literature and what's coming out as research, if it's good or bad, we will find out later, but it is coming, it's increasing dramatically. And I don't know, somebody said you have to read, I don't know, 20 papers on something like this per day to keep updated. So it is impossible. So yeah, so we can't go in this rhythm, but we have to be aware that things are changing and we need to read. So we want to do that. So how are we going to approach the literature search? This is the theory, this is the theoretical, and this is the correct way. I'm sure that everybody, when they have a topic, starts with a random search in Google Scholar to see what is there about. Yeah, but let's look at how we should do it. So first of all, okay, you have a problem, but that problem is really broad. So how can you narrow it to a question? I mean, okay, you're interested, and we will see the examples, but you're interested in something related to your patient management, but you can't, if you search with very broad terms, basically you end with thousands or hundreds of thousands of articles, and you can't really check them all. So you have to formulate a question. So it seems that also in searching, you have to be sure what are you searching, what is your search question this time. And then from that question, what would be the key terms that have to fit into your search builder? and go to the proper database, do your search and see what you get there. And then you have this option to filter down the results. And you can use different filters. Probably for us, when we don't have access, maybe through our institutions, to open access or to all kind of journals, maybe one filter would be, give me those articles who are full text, yeah? And the database can do that for you. Okay, so now starting with the question. So you think about your question and then you try to narrow it down looking at your interest. So, for example, you want to know about cancer pain and painkillers, yeah? This is really very broad. If you search like this, if you put analgesics or painkillers or all the synonyms there, and cancer pain, probably we end up with 700,000 hits. Nobody can screen that kind of amount. Nobody can screen even 1,000 of articles. Yeah. So then you have to think, so if this would be your question, how effective are painkillers or how effective are analgesic in cancer pain? This is still very large. If you then go narrower and you say, okay, I'm interested, basically, my pain is actually a severe pain, so why should I look at all painkiller, all analgesics, all co-analgesic? I want actually to look just at opioids in cancer pain. But even that maybe is too large, because if I have a severe pain, why do I need to look also at tramadol and other things? I need to look just at strong opioids in cancer pain. Yeah. So I have narrowed down. And this is just thinking about what I'm searching and how can I make the topic more focused and more specific. Then there is another possibility, but this is more for studies like or for questions or for problems that are concerning drugs and or are concerning cause-effect studies. And this is the so-called PICO concept. So what is this meaning? PICO comes from the acronym of the first word in each of the sections. So when you formulate a question in a PICO modality, basically P stands for patient, population, or problem. Yeah, the problem that you are, so in your question, somehow you have to have these four elements. So you have to put something about the patient, the population, or the problem that you want to address. E stands for intervention or exposure. So what you want to see as intervention, I want to see pain treatment, I want to see communication modalities, I want to, okay, that's not, yeah, it might be cause effect, yeah. I want to, yeah, what do I want, what is the intervention that I'm looking at? And then C stands for the comparison. So I have this intervention, communicating the diagnosis face-to-face compared with communicating the diagnosis on telephone. Yeah, the comparator could be this here. And what is the outcome? Yeah, acceptance of or I don't know, emotional reaction that are following. For example, in my communication intervention, this is my intervention. So if I have to look at my question, if we go back to this question, what is the effectiveness of strong opioids in cancer pain? Basically, basically I need to see who's my population. It would be cancer patients with severe pain, yes. What is the intervention here? Yeah, what analgesic do I want to think as intervention? What analgesic do I want to have as comparison? And is placebo okay? Is it okay to do a study with placebo in our patients? What do you think? I see some heads like this. If it's a treatment and you have a treatment, is it okay to give placebo? Not really. It's not ethical. You need to give usually what is the gold standard, yeah, for that. Okay, so here it comes. So if we look at the question based on the PICO concept, so patient intervention, comparator, and outcome, you could have, for example, and you can also formulate your inclusion and exclusion criteria like this, yes? So you can have as example for the patient, cancer patient with severe pain. What do you exclude? You exclude all other patients with pain, but who have other diseases. So that's excluded. You exclude the patients with ILS, you exclude the patients with, I don't know, other with diabetes and neuropathy, yeah? So it is cancer patients with severe pain. And it might be not even specific enough because maybe I want to look just at chronic pain, because I can have cancer patients with severe acute pain, mucositis, after chemotherapy, for example, and I don't want them here. So they have to be here. So I don't want non-cancer patients. I don't want acute pain, yeah, even if it's cancer pain. So this is excluded. So I know what is included. And I think this is a nice table to be done because it will help you also when you search. These are what you want to search and these are not. So you will use some builder and they should be in the not. Followed, preceded by not. You will see later. Then what is my intervention? And if we go now what the colleagues in Spain want to do, they want to start using methadone. So they probably, apart of doing the Journal Club on methadone, they think, okay, is really methadone better than the golden standards that we use? So if they want to search the literature, they would say, okay, I want to look at cancer with severe pain and methadone. But I don't want to look at tramadol. I want to exclude, yes, tramadol, weak opioids, non-steroidals, and so on. And I want to compare it not with placebo, because in our institution, it was not cancer patients treated with placebo, but they were treated with morphine. So I want to compare it, you know, is the methadone better actually than morphine when it comes to being more effective for cancer patients. And I'm not in this particular search, I'm not interested maybe, or maybe I am interested to see also effectiveness, but I'm interested maybe also seeing side effects, yes? Or maybe I just want to see, you know, is it working or is it not working? Or do I want to see, is it working, but with what price? And then I'm putting all of the side effects here. But I don't want to look in these conditions at side effects. I don't want to look at barriers. I don't want to look at fears. Yeah, just want to look at very specific effectiveness. So if this is the PICO in this situation, so I want to look at cancer patients with severe pain, methadone compared with morphine, and to see how effective it is. How would the question, how would this question sound? So can you formulate it as a question? These are the elements that you have herein, and how would your question, your search question, sound? Am I clear what I'm asking? Yeah? Okay, so try to formulate a PICO question. Okay, Bogdana, let me give you the microphone.
Should sound like what's the effectiveness of using methadone versus morphine in cancer patients with severe chronic pain.
Okay, so your proposal is, once again, what is the effectiveness
of using methadone versus placebo in cancer patients with severe chronic pain?
Effectiveness of methadone versus placebo in cancer pain.
And I think now we should make it shorter.
Okay, this is what you formulated as your search question. Is somebody else having another search question? Yes?
Is methadone more effective than morphine in treating chronic pain for cancer patients?
Is methadone more
effective than morphine?
effective than morphine
In treating chronic pain for cancer patients?
in treating chronic pain for cancer patients? Okay, thank you, Andrea. Somebody else? Who would vote for the first one? Who would vote for the first one? Maybe there is a. Did you on Zoom formulate maybe a different PICO question? Is there something on the Zoom? No. Okay. So the first question: what is the effectiveness of methadone versus placebo in cancer pain? Will you go for that search? Who will go for that search? Bogdana will go for that search. She proposed it. Is somebody seconding her? Okay, she has friends who are seconding her. Cosmin. And here we have. Okay, we'll go for Andrea's question. Is methadone more effective than morphine in treating cancer pain in treating chronic pain for cancer patients? We'll go for this one. Okay, Elena, you're going for both. Letizia and Maria. Okay, so what is the difference in between the two of them? In the first one, we have a struggle. Which is the struggle in the first one? The comparator, Bogdana. You are comparing with placebo. So I'm sorry, I heard just the placebo and I was repeating. So there is a problem here. You said it actually. It's not ethical. Yes. So, and it is not. I mean, why would I compare with nothing? I hope there are studies, phase 1, phase 2 studies that are telling me, yes, this is if then I go to treat patients and I treat it against the golden standard. What has Andrea done more than here? She has introduced another element, which is more. I know you can't read my miserable writing. Chronic. So she has narrowed it down. Yeah, so she said as well, okay, so the distance, it seems my ears need some checking. So in the distance, I lost this. Okay, so this is the exercise. You will exercise once again we finish the presentation. So thank you very much. So I'm just willing to, so you see how these elements are helping you actually get to a more specific search question. So, so this was your question, yeah, because we have not in our builder here, when we said here, we have left cancer patients with severe pain. So, but we said it could be chronic or it could be acute. So maybe we need to decide and exclude here and refine it further as you did, Andrea. And now, if this is the question, what would be our key search terms? So from our question, what would be our key search terms? And we will come at the end to this, but now we just want to go through some search strategy. So basically, we need in this question to see what are key areas, and they come from population intervention comparator and outcome. So basically, one word, at least for each of these sections, should be in our key area. And then we have to be aware that in some articles, they might talk about pain. In other, they might talk about analgesics. In other, they might talk about pain medication. They might talk about painkillers. They might talk about different ways of addressing the same words. So we need somehow in our search strategy to be sure that we got as many of those synonyms built in. And there are different ways of doing it. So we either use thesaurus, and here they give you all the synonyms and you put them in the builder, or there are other ways that the database is already prepared to check automatically your I don't think it's family group of the synonyms, let's say so. So, for example, if we go at a very broad question, not a very broad, but a question which is not a PICO question, but it was just you know, we haven't written it PICO, it was the initial one, that's how we thought, you know, we are interested in strong opioids in cancer pain. It was our narrow question written. And if we go through this one, and we will see what we get there. So the truth, and maybe there is a third word which is missing here. So one is strong opioids, one is cancer pain, and the other one is effectiveness, yeah? But if we say we haven't realized these are actually the words that we need, and we are so interested, you know, which strong opioid in cancer pain, and we forget it is about effectiveness. So the problem is, you see here, it can be strong opioids, it can be step 3 analgesic opioids, it can be analgesics, it can be and here for cancer pain, again, it can be oncology pain, it can be neoplastic pain, it can be narcotics. So actually, these are synonyms, and they have to come in my builder. And there are, in the databases, there are somehow predefined vocabularies who are already choosing for you the words and all the synonyms. And if you go in PubMed, they can be called subject heading, subject term, descriptors, thesaurus, index term, whatever. If you go in PubMed, you have this main subheading. So you have this category where you can search, where if you have a mesh term, so-called mesh term, like cancer pain, for example, this is a mesh term, beneath it, and if you search with this mesh term, beneath it, you will see all the terms which are the synonyms for it. What database? These are databases more for, let's say, quantitative research or for medical research. But there is CINAHL, I don't know if I pronounce it correctly, CINAHL, yes? CINAHL. Okay, in Romanian you would spell it CINAHL. In English you read it CINAHL, where you have actually literature, top literature from nursing field and from allied health professionals. You have the PsycInfo, for example, where you have literature coming for psychology. So, of course, PubMed, we are familiar with it, PubMed research, and it has all kinds of literature, but we have to be aware it's not the only database, it's very large, and we will, because it's available all over, we have actually built our lessons or our search strategy in PubMed. So, if we go now to these mesh terms, what we see, and maybe it is better if Mirabela starts to search, better than, that their mesh is automatically, if you go with a keyword, they make like a tree with all the synonyms below and with more complex terms or larger terms above. So if we go to PubMed, no, just click on the link. Ah, okay. Yes, please.
When we search in PubMed and we want to find the relative terms for our key term, we click on mesh database, and it's showing us where we can put the key terms about cancer pain.
You are on the Greek keyboard.
And then
Cancer.
Cancer pain. And so we make a search. And now we see that there is a lot of synonyms of our key term. Cancer-related pain, neoplastic-related pain, oncological pain, and we make a search for circular and retrieving all the relative terms for cancer pain. We made search in PubMed and we retrieved the results. In the top of the page, there are 2074, and then we want to go back and to see that there are subheadings that help us narrow down our search. And if we are interested in therapy of cancer pain, we click on therapy, and then we go to add to search builder, and we will have another search, and we retrieve 1,612 results. Our research is narrowed down, and if we want to narrow the research, we can filter and search what was published in the last 3 years, for example.
But we will go there later. Here what I wanted to show, if you can go back to mesh.
Yes.
Hold on. So you can see here how mesh is structured. You can see here how mesh is structured. So if you go a little bit up, you see all the synonyms. And you would, I mean, the database, so the database actually, when you write cancer pain, it is retrieving for you, not just the terms articles with cancer pain, but articles who have all these kind of synonyms there. And if you are thinking about them, probably you will not be able to come with such a long list. I mean, that was built it up. And then if you realize, because sometimes I have students and they say, you know, there are no articles on this topic, which is never true. I think then I said, okay, now we go for the Nobel Prize if we haven't received, because you know, people have thought about that. You're not the first one to have the aha moment. So, but if you think you have the aha moment, go down here. Okay, you see how it is structured. So you are here, cancer pain. You don't have enough articles. So you can go a level up, which is pain. I'm looking for pain, yeah? Or you can go a level up, which is, I don't know, neurological manifestation. And in between those, probably, if you go on that mesh term, you have a long list, including pain and with all those things, yeah? So first, what we wanted to show with this one, you can, if you do your first search and you don't hit, or if you hit too many, then think, okay, because you saw we forgot to say, what do we want? We want cancer pain and strong opioids, but what do we want? And here it tells you, okay, you want effective, you want therapy, you want physiopathology, you want, here, if we go, we can narrow it down, yeah? What do you want? You want, maybe you are too broad, and I don't know why it has retrieved just 2,000. We have probably there's something in the builder, because cancer pain, yesterday evening when we searched, it retrieved 701,000 articles. So I don't think we did something wrong there. Yeah, it has. Yeah, so you understand, it's either I see, okay, I can't deal with it and I have to narrow down, or wait a moment, I don't have enough, I need to go up a level. So this is mesh. So this is one way of using your database and the main subheadings. Now, if we go further to the presentation, the next thing that we want to discuss, so this is term mapping. This is automatically, you have them there. You just use search as mesh terms. The next thing, you can use the so-called Boolean operator. You just go one slide further. No. Okay, because we will go between searches, and so leave it like this. So these are the so-called, I don't know what is the right word. In Romania it would be boolean. In English it's probably something with Boolean. I don't know. No, it's not. Boolean. Okay, Boolean, oh, so it's gold in a way for us who have no idea how to do the search. So how do you actually Boolean? Ah, yeah, so it is the Romanian and the Spanish way, Boolean. Here it is, the Boolean operator. And actually, they come from logic. When we have done in our smaller grades logic, you remember, we had the and, the or, what it means when you have a statement with and together or with or. So it's the same here. If you put this operator or between two search terms, cancer pain and, or analgesics, what will it give me? It will give me all the articles that have either cancer pain, either analgesics in them. So this, what is it doing? It's really broadening our research. Then we have the other operator, which is called and. That means if I put cancer pain and analgesics, it will give me the articles that have just cancer pain together with analgesics. So it's basically narrowing down my search. If I put not, so I can say cancer pain, not, I don't know, ILS pain, for example, and analgesic, it will give me all the articles about cancer pain, but definitely there will be nothing about ILS in it, and also there will be things about analgesics. So with these three operators, I can actually enlarge or refine my my search. So Mirabella, would you like to show it, how it's working? I like Mary's go. Okay, so we succeeded to get on the database.
Make the search and show the results. Cancer pain, and or first we want to see what's happened before, or analgesics.
So this is now retrieving all the articles. This is retrieving now all the articles that have either cancer pain or analgesics. On 1,000 something, 116,000 articles over.
Too much information, and now we go to end cancer pain and analgesics, and are much results are narrowed. We are only
Around 4,000 kids.
And then we go back to see what is happening when we put or not cancer pain, not non-cancer pain, no cancer pain, cancer. And because there are two words, and not yes.
So it has narrowed it down, cancer pain, not cancer. Probably we need a
Because
pain
there are
there.
too much words, and they are retrieving for all the words.
Okay, so basically you exclude some of the terms and you include just the others. But if you have like groups, you need to do the nesting, which is if we go on the next slide. Because we want just cancer pain, not other non-cancer, because you might have articles who are talking both on cancer pain and non-cancer pain together, and I'm maybe not interested in them, yeah, or maybe I'm not interested. I'm not interested in children, for example. Yeah, you need. That's what we are doing now. You need to do the so-called nesting. So nesting is like grouping, making groups of different search terms, because otherwise, if there are too many, they don't. The builder, the database is not realizing. It's giving you usually the broadest option. Okay, so let's go to the second slide. To the next slide. Sorry. So this is the nesting is actually grouping. It's more like grouping, and you group, for example, when you want one for one. So you have the mesh cancer pain, yeah, but you don't have a mesh, for example, for side effects, complication, secondary reactions. So basically, for this search, I want to see what kind of side effects I would have from analgesics when I give them for cancer pain. And I can have my first search. Where is my pointer? Here. I can have my first search and I can try cancer pain and analgesics and side effects. And actually what I'm trying here to do, I'm trying to give synonymous for similar terms for side effects. And so I say, I want either side effects, I want either complication, I want either secondary reactions, I want either, and then I have this or. But in order for the database to understand, actually, this is one group. So I have to have this plus this plus this, either like this or this or this. I have to group them together, because otherwise it will say this and this and this plus this plus what is here plus what is here. So it will give quite a large results. It will combine all these things. So you have to do this kind of grouping of the terms that are your synonyms. Yeah. So this is when you use the parentheses. Yeah. Is there a question? It makes somehow sense, yeah.
Okay. Andreas has a question from
I'm
Zoom.
sorry, can you speak, Andre? So I think it's easier for people in Zoom, if they have a question, just open the microphone and speak up, because...
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
There's any difference if we use in the capital letters the words and, or, and... No difference, okay.
No. Next. Then the other thing that we can do is use the so-called truncation. Actually, it is putting for PubMed is putting this asterisk. So, for example, I don't know how it is really spelled in the article: child, children, childhood. Sorry? Yes, pediatrics would go to synonyms, and I have somehow to build it in with an or. But here it means simply I will take the root of this word family. I'll take the root and then I put an asterisk, and then it will search everything which has in the root child plus all the endings. Yeah. And you can see here, if we put child, simple, yeah, or if child, there probably are children s, yeah, so there are around 200 more articles if I use this asterisk, yeah. Okay. Also, maybe the other thing that I can do. So these were strategies. So what we talked till now, we talked, okay, formulate your question, identify your key terms, use your key terms either in mesh subheadings, which is giving you the vocabulary and the predefined vocabulary, and then you can also choose in the builder to add some things like effectiveness. There were a lot for pain there. You saw them. Or you use your Boolean operators, or you use nesting or truncation. But other ways that you can do, sometimes, this, Bruera wrote this reference article on methadone. Yeah, so I'm going on the internet and I do a quick search on Bruera's article on methadone. And when I find this search, what is the database telling me? Similar articles. So you have a long list of similar articles. So starting from one, let's say, renowned article in your field, you can see who wrote about that topic also, and you can go there as well. So this is a quick search, and you have here, can you go for this? You have, for example, here, we know this is an important study where amitriptyline, gabapentin, and pregabalin were compared in neuropathic pain. And so if we know, this is the study that we definitely want to in our search, and we put it there. We retrieve the study. Yeah.
And we see the abstract and the right
Full text.
We see the full text, and we see the similar articles related to our topic.
So when you do your quick search, when you retrieve an article, what you definitely, even if you have a paid license or not, you can see the abstract. For some of them, it will tell you if there is a full text available, and this is where it says, yeah, full text link, and if you click it, then you go to the full text, and then it is up to your university or your institution if it is free access or not. Some would be free open access regardless of where you come from. If you don't, for countries which do not have this luxury, and I'm thinking in the hospice we use it often, it is a kind of web page, which is Hub. I think you have heard about it. And everything which is new, you put the link, the DOI, whatever you want is Hub, and it's giving you the full article. Sorry? And the citation, and so Hub, long live the Russian database. They made it in Russian. I don't think it's 100% legal, but it's giving you all the information, and you want the information should be legal. Information should be available even if you are poor, even if you are rich. So, and it's in the ending, you have to search it in, go in a Google search if you want. Okay, yeah. Ok, scrieți C-Hub. Uite, ea a apărut deja, primul. Ok, e ăsta de aici. So, there you write it and here you get your article. Here you have it. It's your full text, yeah. If you have an institution license, that's fine. But if you want to read something for your private use, you're not making money out of it, this is another place where you can get your information. Okay, so this is the quick search. Now, if we go to our next slide, you can filter. So you have retrieved 2,000 hits. You can't read 2,000. Yeah, you have to narrow them down. So you go on your search, on the previous search, you have been there. It's the gabapentin or whichever search, doesn't matter. It's very difficult because you have the share screen. Okay. Yeah, the next one, that's one, that one. No, the other one. You can't. There it is. Yeah. Okay. Not like that. Okay. So you have now here on this side several filters that you can apply. One filter is related to the content. So do I want articles who have abstract? Do I want articles with free full text? And probably this is the most used. Or do I want the full text, but then it means some would be free text, some would be to pay. And usually it's a few, yeah, 25, 30, 50 dollars per article. So this is what you can filter. Then you can also filter, do I want what type of, and here there are more, yeah, what type of article do I want? If I want something like, you know, is methadone more effective than morphine, then I know this is an effectiveness study, and I know there are several levels of evidence. And the best level would be this one, meta-analysis. And then the next level would be randomized controlled trials. And then the next level would be quasi-experimental. So maybe for my initial search, I would say, I'm just interested in meta-analysis and randomized controlled trials. Not maybe, I don't know, clinical trials might be experimental or quasi-experimental. So if I put the two of them, deci dacă bifez meta-analiză și randomized controlled trials, and then if we go for free full text, which we would do in our normal life, 270, and then I say, okay, I just don't want, I want the most recent things. And I want, and you can see here, I want the things in the last 5 years, or I want, maybe I have done my reading my literature and I want just what's newest, I want just in the last year. Yeah, and then that's what I've got. And then from there, I'm reading and I'm selecting from the abstracts, I'm selecting, you know, what I want to really read in depth. Yeah. Okay. Good. So if we go back to the presentation, if we now have the summary, so how do we go about the searching? We start by either doing a very broad search, exploratory search in Google Scholar, or we start by thinking, you know, what is our topic? We refine the question, and then we identify the key search terms. We think about what is the proper database. We do the search, and then we filter the information to a manageable amount. And then we look, is that information really applicable to my practice, or is it relevant? And then it's the reading and deciding on what we keep and what we don't keep. If we go now to our question, is methadone more effective than morphine in severe cancer pain? You can see here we already have somehow in the question the key search terms. So it's definitely methadone, it's definitely about effectiveness, it's definitely the comparator, yeah, and it's definitely the population type. Yeah, and if we go and do this search, then we can, once we do the large search, then we can start adding between them. What would we add? And yeah, we would say methadone, we would say cancer, severe cancer pain, and methadone, not morphine, or we leave it, or compared to, we leave it methadone and morphine, and we leave it morphine and effectiveness. Nu putem să punem notă acolo because we want to compare them, so we can't just have, we have to have and more. Okay. So leave cancer pain without severe. Okay. Get your filter out. Yeah, get your filter out. Okay, there is the filter in the last year. Get the filter out. So basically you have 3 articles in the last year. If you get the filter out, clear all, you have 59 results. So for your research, you have this 59 hits. And then you have to see, okay, what would you like to see? Would you like to see those who are free full text? Would you like to see those who are clinical trials? Would you like to see those who are randomized controlled trials? Would you like to see systematic reviews? Would you like to see that I'm spraying? Yeah, 59 is not so bad. You can scan them quickly. Okay, do you have questions? No? Okay, it was presented in simple steps. So if you don't have questions, we would like you to try it. And what we would like you to try is to get from a problem, because I think one important step is to get from a problem to your search question. So probably in your groups, if you can talk about what kind of problems you are facing in your clinical work and select one of them, because probably you have different options. Select one of them. Think about the question, the broad question, and if it is possible, a narrow question or a PICO question. You might not be able to have a PICO question for that specific problem, but it is good to think in terms of patient groups, what you want to observe, or what is the intervention, and if there is or not something you are comparing it against, and if there is, what is the outcome. You definitely want an outcome, yeah? And then after you did the PICO question, from the PICO question or from the narrow question, underline which are your key, your essential terms that you need to find in your search, and then go for a search. Use either mesh terms, use either the Boolean operators, use either nesting, use either what is the truncation, and filter down and see how many hits. And goes quickly through the titles and see, were those relevant for the problem that you put it? Yeah, because you put somehow the problem, and was it really relevant what you got there? Okay, okay, thank you. So you would have like 15 minutes. Juana, can you help with the groups, with the breakout rooms?
Yes, I'm preparing now.
Thank you very much. So you have like 15 minutes, 20 minutes to do this work, and then we need a few minutes for reports.
Ναι, θα το κάνω. Αν το πετύχει. Ναι. Τώρα θα το στείλεις.
Στείλω ένα mail δες και άμα σ' αρέσει, το υπογράφει.
Εγώ κάνω πάντα λάθος. Από αυτά θα σου απαντήσω.
Servus, Alina, sunt Oana Predoiu. Uite, te-am sunat să spun că link-ul este încă activ, deci poți să intri. Eventual, dacă îmi dai o adresă de e-mail să-ți retrimit eu link-ul. Da, da. Da.
Oana, închide microfonul.
Shura, yeah, it's closed. Her microphone, Oana's microphone is closed. Ah.
Okay. 2 more minutes and then we need to do the debriefing. 2 more minutes and then we do the debriefing. Care vreți voi? Și dacă vrei să iei tip de studiu, depinde de centrul de studiu. Filter. Da. Eu v-am arătat direct pe ăla. Direct îți face. Deci am reușit, ajungem, adică să vină, da, pot să opresc tipul de studiu care se numește.
Acum închid și camerele.
Mulțumim! Yes!
No more time.
We need more time, please.
Maybe you would like more time too.
Yes.
Oana?
Εδώ τα θέλω όλα.
Oh, you don't have to. Yeah, but then you go to related articles. Related articles. You have those two.
Perdona, te ajudou.
Okay, okay, so I see we are back, or we start to be back from the. How was the exercise? Was it working? Did you find relevant literature? No, we had a group yes, a group said no. What about the group there? We are studying if it's relevant or not. We don't know. What about the group here? Yes, some relevant literature. We have to read them to see if they are relevant or not. We have to attend the next session to see if they are relevant or not, okay? Okay, what about on Zoom? Did you succeed?
They asked for more time, but they are coming back right now.
They asked for more time. Okay, it was challenging, wasn't it? Okay, did you succeed to find some relevant literature in your rooms on the subject?
That was a question for the Zoom participant.
That was a question for the Zoom participants. I can see why you wanted to stay longer, because the people here, although we stopped, they are still talking. So I'm sorry for you. It was getting out of the groups. Okay, let's hear how your question was formulated. Okay, can we start with the Zoom group? How was your search question formulated?
Okay, we can start. We were in the group
with Andreas for breaking the ice. Yes.
With Miss Elsa and Kyria Zotou. Λοιπόν, let's start. We formation the question like this: the effectiveness of sublingual fentanyl in breakthrough pain of cancer patients who do not receiving TTS fentanyl. So we have.
This is good practice.
We have all of the PICO sentences. One is the patients, the P.
Yeah.
The I is the sublingual fentanyl. The C is the patient who not receiving TTS fentanyl. The correlation, yes. And the O is the effectiveness.
Okay,
so we
stop there, Andreas, because you have a problem. So the population, who's the population? It's not patients. What's the population?
Cancer? Cancer patients?
It's not the population, cancer patients. Have you?
Cancer patients not receiving TTS.
No, you had that build up as no, it's you said breakthrough pain.
Yes.
Cancer patient with severe pain.
But it was cancer. You said you want to look at the effectiveness of sublingual fentanyl for breakthrough pain. Yes. So what you are looking is patients with breakthrough pain. And I would challenge you in this search question, if they don't receive your transdermal fentanyl, is this really what you're seeing, breakthrough pain? Is it really breakthrough pain, or is it actually uncontrolled pain? You understand what I'm saying? Where is the problem? If you don't give the treatment for continuous and you have pain, is that really breakthrough pain, or is it simple untreated pain? And you actually want to look then at sublingual fentanyl for cancer pain, not breakthrough, but for cancer pain in patients not receiving
TTS fentanyl.
Yeah. Okay.
But if they receive morphine.
Okay, then it can be breakthrough pain. But then it doesn't matter if they don't receive. They receive they receive for the baseline an opioid. So you then, doesn't matter if it is fentanyl, it can be morphine, it can be oxycodone, it can be whatever you have there, yeah? So they have an opioid. So the problem, what I saw in York, when you formulated your key terms, was the population was not well defined, yes?
Okay.
And when you formulated the question, the problem was if it was correct as a question, because you were trying to treat patients with pain, with no, at least as you formulated the question, with no proper baseline treatment. And you were naming breakthrough pain, something which probably was not breakthrough pain. So you have to think about these issues, but thank you very much for your question. And I think you tried very nicely to put the 4 elements in it, and we had also some comments on it. Okay, let's look for another question from the group. Okay, Flavia.
Our question was, which are the effects of hydration in terminally ill cancer patients? We use advanced search and...
Stop. So stop at the question, because we are at the question. So you want to see hydration, effects of hydration in terminally ill patients.
Cancer
Patients. Okay, so this is the question, and what were your search terms?
Search terms advanced, yeah, was first cancer or oncologic, and hydration, then the both and terminal, and effects, and we had 99 articles. Then we put filters, full text and clinical trial, and got 16 articles, which I think are relevant. The first one is effects of parenteral hydration in terminally ill cancer patient, a preliminary study. So we scan.
Okay, so you can see already there were things. Are we talking about hydration, oral hydration? Are we talking about parenteral hydration, which was there already in your article? And also, it's a very challenging topic, and I'm amazed that there are so many, because this is a very vulnerable population. This is terminally ill. I'm assuming it's dying patients. Yes, that's what we are talking about, and to find clinical trials. So it means that, you know, it is probably you didn't put too many filters on the type of studies, because it might be observational studies. You just observe patients who have been hydrated versus who haven't been hydrated, or you can go for clinical trials.
We made clinical trial.
You went for clinical trials, which might be not compulsory randomized controlled trials. You wouldn't expect to see, you know, what happens with this one compared with the one who didn't get hydration. Yeah, thank you. Very well. Thank you. Another group. And I think it's a good experience from this group. Yeah.
So we had the questions from our experience at work. We wanted to find out the effectiveness of quercetin, Seroquel, in hyperactive delirium and the irreversible hyperactive delirium in cancer patients. We put all these keys on the PubMed, and we found none.
Zero articles.
Yes, and we decided to go for the Nobel. But
but then you changed your search strategy.
Then Daniela came and said, no, you cannot. So we decided to put less keywords, and we found 16 articles, but half of them they were for children. So we had to put some filters to see what's going on. And now we have 8 articles that probably are relevant, but we don't know because we didn't have so much time to see.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so what is this saying? It's saying, you know, it's not such a studied topic. And of course it is not so studied, because it's similar with what they do. Irreversible delirium is usually at end of life, you know, and studied. How do you get ethical consent? How do you get permission from patient with delirium and end of life? I mean, it's a really challenging topic. And then you make it even more challenging because you know you have the golden golden standard which says go with haloperidol, and you simply don't want to go with haloperidol. You want to go with quetiapine, and of course, you know, you have to challenge it. It's, you know, is this against the best practice, better practice or not? So you have already some studies you wouldn't expect to have, I don't know, meta-analysis and but yeah. But I think it's a very good example when you start to think, okay, why am I not getting results? How can I enlarge the search? Yeah, and you found them. Okay, for this group, I think we just have to quick the question and then we have to stop because Aliki will never let me be the first one in the morning. I'm messing up her schedule.
Our question was effectiveness of sedation in refractory symptoms to elderly patients.
So you went, whoop. Okay, was it palliative sedation or was it general sedation?
First, general sedation. We have 163 results.
No, not so bad.
Not so bad.
Not so bad.
And we added palliative care and we obtained 39 results. It's okay.
I don't know what you found.
Was okay. The result was some relevancy, not all. We tried to extract part of elderly patients. We obtained 1990 results.
90?
90 results. And we stop here.
Okay, so you are not mixing around with stuff. I mean, you go for the heavy topics. Thank you. Okay, what about this group here?
So our PICO question is oxycodone as safe as morphine in opioid-naive cancer patients?
Mm-hmm. So you go for a safety. Mm-hmm.
So when we did the search, we put all the words, particularly for safe, we got with the asterisk. So it will be safety as safe, safetiness. So in order to take all the terms was our thinking behind doing so. And we searched in 3 computers, we got 9 articles. It seems like it's safe to start with oxycodone, but worldwide, not in Romania, they have available 5 milligrams. So we only we have the 20 milligrams available, so for us would be advisable to start with morphine.
Yeah, okay, because this is also, you know, the critical appraisal, what happens in my practice, and I think it's a very nice transition. You want to report from here as well?
Our question was, is more effective the use of benzodiazepines than relaxation techniques for sleeping disorders in patients with advanced cancer? We identify like key concepts, which is benzodiazepines, relaxation techniques, and then advanced cancer sleeping problems, and then effectiveness. We combine in the search strategy, and we get around 8 articles, I think it was. And there were some interesting relaxation techniques like the forest therapy. So we have some curiosity about what includes that. So we have some reading to do.
Okay, okay.
It was nice to have some idea of what's there.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much. So this is also like opening perspectives, what you found with your literature. And I think we have another group on Zoom. Is it true? There is another group, Margarita?
Yes, hello. What we wanted to research was the pharmacological intervention in the treatment of delirium in end of life. In a PICO question, the way we said it was effects of antipsychotics in the treatment of delirium of adult patients at the end of life. at start we had 68 results. Then when we tried to narrow it by putting neuroleptics, we had more results. And then we managed, yes, to use mesh terms. We said delirium as a mesh term and terminal care as a mesh term and antipsychotics as a mesh term. And that was better. We had 22 results. We wanted the results in the last 5 years. So we ended up with 7 full texts, which is good. And I think 2 of them I'm really interested in reading.
Okay, bravo. Bravo. So it seems there is a problem with delirium. I'm hearing this is a problem. You are struggling with patients at home with delirium. So, and it is a problem with refractory symptoms. It's a problem with hydration. So it seems we see the spectrum. What is interesting is in the clinical practice. Okay, I hope you had fun and you also got some clues and you also got some interesting ideas and readings from your search. I think we have now a coffee break.